Ready.
Hey, welcome to Blueprint 2020, and this is supply chain planning and year in review. What did we deliver? And my name is Cliff Isaacson, head of product strategy here, and I am lucky to have my other esteemed host, who's Santosh, the CTO.
Hi, everybody. This is Santosh Virambatla. So we will dive right in.
So I think my take on 2019 deliveries is really about customer-driven enhancements. It was further enhancements of integrated business planning. And then the two things that I take away from it are really connectors to drive value and speed to value, and then usability enhancements. I think this highlights all of the features that were in these 178 and 179 releases that were really driven by customer requests. So I think this just continues to prove out, things like dependent demand visibility, back order calculations, all driven by customer needs. And that is how we formulate the roadmap, and that's how we deliver releases and prioritize releases.
We just want to spend a little bit of time on some of these key features that we released since last Blueprint. And one of them is Blue Ridge Connect. Dario is doing a detailed session on this topic, and I encourage everyone to attend that for more details. But the purpose of BR Connect is some of the orphan attribute data, both items, sources, brackets, and so on and so forth that may not be available in the ERP, but is important for you to have that data in Blue Ridge. This tool allows you to connect that data into Blue Ridge. So this data may be available in Excel spreadsheets, text files, and BR Connect will allow you to upload the data in bulk, as opposed to making these changes manually, one item or one source at a time. So this is different to the mass maintenance in that in the mass maintenance tool, you can you can change the value for a set of items or suppliers to a fixed value, but BR Connect allows you to take a different set of values for each items. Once again, that may be an Excel or a text file. You will be able to upload it without having to wait for the daily night job to process. You will be able to see almost instantaneous feedback in terms of the data getting reflected in the system. Once again, I encourage everybody to check out the session that Dario is doing with a hands-on approach to BR Connect. Also wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about the enhancements we've made to the IBP module. And so we talked about integrated business planning product in the last two blueprints, and we continue to add a lot of features to this product. Once again, there is a deep dive that Praveen Padman from our product strategy team is running, and hopefully you can make it to the session and get a lot more detail in terms of some of the improvements we've done. But kind of some of the key highlights in the IBP product are usability changes. So when you're making overrides, you can skip over having to establish a reason code for each override. You can do inline edits. There is a self-service feature now. So if you've got a sales forecast, if you've got a marketing forecast that is available in Excel spreadsheet, instead of keying them in manually, you can actually upload that data right in the system, and it will be uploaded instantly. Gives you a feedback of what records was loaded versus any errors in the data with formatting and so on and so forth. We've also enhanced our workflow capability that allows you to orchestrate your S&OP periodic cycle, whether you're doing it in weekly or monthly. Driven by some specific customer requirements, we've also added enhancements to be able to support taking in sell-through data or point of sale data and be able to forecast against that, in addition to your direct sales or your sell-in that you're already able to do within supply chain planning. We've also made some changes to be able to incorporate growth factor, a growth rate for some of those customers who are seeing double-digit growth on certain product lines, and we have incorporated that into the the point of sale data related forecasting.
And I would really encourage people to attend Praveen's session on use of integrated business planning. Part of what the customer success team can talk about is some of the customer webinars we did earlier this year, and the tight integration of integrated business planning with supply chain planning and the statistical forecast has proved crucial for a number of customers. And the fact that it does top-down, bottom-up adjustments to customer demand and the volatility of that demand over the last couple of months has really been useful. For example, shifting rapidly customer demand from on-premise consumption to off-premise consumption, and having that reflected in a forecast and the replenishment plan. So lots of great things in integrated business planning that Santosh and Praveen can talk about in much greater detail than I can.
It's a great point, Cliff.
So 2020, lots going on in 2020. And one thing I'd like to highlight is perhaps we didn't market it very well, but we had a significant enhancement introduced earlier this year called Supplier Management, which was enabling customers to actually plan around capacity constraints up on the supplier side. And some of our distributor customers, which which been our core market for many years, also have some light manufacturing capabilities, or certainly over the last couple of months have needed to collaborate more tightly with suppliers. And this capacity constraint and calendaring function to understand when capacity controls are in place from a supplier and when replenishment needs to work around that capacity constraint was a useful capability we introduced. And then, of course, Supply Chain Planning 180, in later slides, we'll dig into some of the highlighted items. But I will say that the big one here is a lot of science enhancements that were really customer driven. This is another set of releases that is really driven by customer needs and customer priorities. And these science enhancements are not just a point forecast method, which is intermittent demand, and which was certainly driven by feedback from our customers that the long tail of the assortment is a challenge. But the other important piece is intelligent min-max as an enhancement to those lumpy or intermittent demand items from a replenishment perspective. And we have done a recent webinar on 180. Encourage people to view that to see the details, or work with your Lifeline team to get more details and test it in your test environment so that you can roll it out to production. That third piece that is an enhancement to science is this auto selection, which is proving to be just as important as any individual demand forecast methodology. And Raj has a separate session on science and science capabilities in Release 180 that I would encourage people to attend. And then, of course, these other items, which are really driven by customers and reflect usability enhancements and functional enhancements in 180. And I will comment on the coming releases and the planned releases, which are also customer driven. In the next release, we have a number of items that are really further enhancements to intelligent min-max, given that it was really strong feedback from our customers that it was a useful functionality, as well as some enhancements to multi-echelon inventory optimization and the data that flows through and dependent demand coming from multiple sources. We also have some auto selection enhancements to support science that was introduced in 180. And finally, we have some other customer-driven capabilities around roles-based access, status flagging, and scheduled low stock point adjustments. Finally, we do have further out some further enhancements that are highly requested by customers that include neural networking enhancements. And the first phase is planned for causal forecasting capabilities. Additionally, I'll mention autoregressive forecasting and machine learning enhancements. And coupled with these additional forecasting capabilities is more auto selection enhancements to make sure that it becomes more and more critical that the right forecast methodology is chosen by the machine learning driven engine. Santosh, I'm sure you can provide more flavor on some of these as well.
Absolutely. Yep. Specifically on the IBP front, once again, some of the enhancements are directly customer-driven enhancements. Some of our customers who are leveraging IBP would like to continue to forecast from a demand planning perspective at a weekly granularity level. But S&OP process is sometimes difficult to pull off when you do it weekly. So traditionally that's done on a monthly fashion. So they need the IBP system to be able to support a monthly cadence at a monthly granularity while still supporting weekly from a forecasting perspective. So we have that slated for the next upcoming release, as well as block ordering, which really helps with supplier collaboration in terms of providing input into supplier portals, what the forward-looking shipment forecast is, and incorporating what their projected receipt data is, and being able to see that in IBP kind of from an end-to-end visibility perspective.
One comment I would make is that the releases post 180 are still in the planning phases. We certainly have some development done. We try to stay in front of the releases. We have science development in progress that's already been done for causal forecasting and neural networking enhancements. So I will say that they are still in the planning phases, and we're working with customers to see what else can be pulled into the releases to address priority customer enhancements. And this is just highlighting the items in 179, 180, and these future looking proposed releases that are being driven specifically by customer requests. And we continue to focus on priorities driven by the customer. So highlights of 180, I just wanted to pull out of the many items in 180. If you want to see the details, attend the various detailed sessions or the recording of the webinar we did on the release. But I just wanted to call out 3 specific items: event flow, holdout name, order item detail, and the item forecast change reason code. So I think what's interesting about the event flow is promotions and events continue to be critical for demand planning for customers through this volatile period of customer demand. And we will have detailed sessions on this, but I wanted to comment that this is an important capability in 180 to take promotion periods and spread the demand across those promotion periods so that it's not one big hit of replenishment order. We certainly understand that there are constraints in inbound and outbound receiving, labor and transportation. And so this is an important way of smoothing out demand across the promotion period. For holdout management, we understand that this is important for customers. Probably feels like this is simply a UI, but this was more than just a user interface enhancement, and it really allows our customers to better manage holdouts so they understand why they're reserving inventory capacity, and that contributes to better management of the working capital that's tied up in inventory. So I think this is an important enhancement for our customers. And then finally, forecast history change reason codes. We are continuing to move towards exception-based management. And this is an important way for us to enhance capture and auditability of when forecasts are changed. and manually overridden so that we have a better understanding for our customers when they're adjusting the forecast. So this is a nice enhancement to hand off to the rest of the team for our customers that are trying to better understand where the forecast untouched is not meeting requirements. And then finally, I'm not going to go into the details of science. Raj has his separate sessions. But this is a nice overview that really describes the activities of intelligent min-max and it being used in conjunction with intermittent demand forecasting. You know, remember that Raj was very careful to periodically remind me, intelligent min-max is actually a replenishment methodology. Intermittent demand forecasting is a forecasting methodology, but they can be used in conjunction to really manage your long tail assortment, your intermittent and lumpy demand items. But as with inventory management, it depends on what your business driver is. And it's a simple trade-off of the investment in inventory that is required to improve service levels. And if that's your priority, you can see the results here from an example customer. Versus if you are really trying to pull inventory out of the system and reduce working capital, understanding that impact on sales and service levels and potential stockouts. So it's a good way of managing your business. And I think that's a big step forward for our customers.
So to round out, I just wanted to also spend a little bit of time talking about some of the investments we made in the technology area. Some of these may not be apparent to you in terms of how you use the system on a day-to-day basis, but these form the backbone of the system. These are quite critical in this day and age of security, performance, and scalability. So, you'll be very, very happy to know that Blue Ridge is now SOC 2 certified. So we have gone through a series of internal initiatives to make sure we are SOC 2 compliant, and we are now SOC 2 certified by an external auditor. One of the things that we had to do was to make sure from a security perspective, the code that's behind Blue Ridge from a static code analysis perspective is rock solid, as well as we incorporate into our code release process the review of the code from a static code perspective, as well as perform periodic penetration testing. So we've onboarded an industry-renowned platform for security by name Veracode, and we are Blue Ridge is now Veracode team certified, and we are listed in their directory. For those of our customers based in Europe, we recently migrated all of their systems to a data center in Europe to address any latency and GDPR related concerns. We've also, over the course of last 12 months, made several improvements to the product in terms of performance and scalability from kind of the bad jobs perspective, from a UI perspective, and we'll continue to do that. So finally, I just, from a technology perspective, I would like to take this opportunity to give you all a heads up on our upcoming revamp of our service test tool. More communication will come out, but just wanted to mention that taking this opportunity.
Good stuff. Thank you for joining today. We're happy to take questions. I believe we're collecting questions and we will be publishing a frequently asked questions, but happy to take direct queries. As usual, me or the Santosh or the product strategy team, or I would encourage you reach out to your Lifeline rep with specific questions. They can certainly get us in touch with you, and we're happy to walk through existing capabilities or planned capabilities and how we plan these future releases going forward.
Thank you.